S&M1, S&M2, comparison, the ultimate clash. First, the set list. Which set list was best? Did they have songs from all the albums actually?
They did Kill 'Em All, they did Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets, Injustice for All, Black Album, Load and Reload. Yeah, actually they did. You know what?
Saint All Within My Hands, yeah.
Yeah, they did. That's props to them.
The S&M2 would have been better if they included a couple of more old school songs which have not been symphonized, such as Fade to Black, and get rid of a couple of songs such as Confusion.
Right.
And added more new songs in general. That's the point. But the bonus for S&M2 is that they included All Within My Hands, The Unforgiven 3, James Sings Alone, and Anesthesia. These three, they pulled the gig. They made it work.
It brought it to another level. Originality S&M2, but for pure likeness of just like classic songs, S&M1.
The S&M1 was the first try. They did not have anything to compare to. That was from scratch. All the songs heard for the first time with a symphony. I missed the point that they did not write a brand new song specially for S&M2. In that regard, Symphony 1 wins for the set list. But Symphony 2 included some new colors, some new approaches.
Yeah.
And that's why I would not say it has a bad list, set list. Could have been better. Then, performance. Especially, let's say about vocals. James kicked ass. His new voice really fit in the sound.
I searched the outside, searched inside.
Remember, in S&M1, it was tweaked also in the studio a bit too.
But I would not put it here on the performance section because that's kind of mixing thing. That's not the fault of James, but in terms of performance, that was the peak voice, 1999, of James.
I searched the outside, search inside.
I prefer S&M1's vocals, but then again, we're talking about how they might have been, studio-ized, if you want to call it that. But then, S&M1 didn't have Unforgiven 3. It didn't have the acoustic set of All Within My Hands.
Yeah.
Really put James right in the fucking forefront.
Plus here and plus there. Both have thumbs up. Then drums.
First.
Drums. First. Definitely first. Lars, calm down. Calm the fuck down. Did he realize he was not playing the drum part, but the fills all the time?
S&M1 was more of a studio album than S&M2 is in the sense of production. So maybe Lars was more kind of like studio mind focused when he was doing the drums. And in this, it's kind of like, more of a live kind of let yourself go. I want a different vibe.
On the first one, he was told by Michael Kamen, you are the metronome. You are the click. We are relying on you. Definitely drums, S&M1.
S&M1.
But it comes down to Jason versus Robert. And not just in bass, but their backing vocals and other functions.
Rob has more of a group mentality, while Jason had more of a lone wolf mentality. So Jason would be kind of like headbanging in the background, and Rob, he'll do his crab walk up to Kirk.
Jason could do fingers too. He could do slap too. But Robert is the universal soldier. Such a pity that he cannot show it in full in Metallica yet. In general, Jason versus Rob on S&M's, I'll put Jason because he was more than just a bassist there.
He's a good backup vocalist.
And he was the beast. He was like a monster. He was the devil there.
When he goes on stage, you can tell he loves being there. Like he's just like just gung-ho, just I want to fight, like, let's fucking do this. And Rob is he's more calm, laid back, but they have, their dynamics are so fucking totally different that either way you go, they're both good. But yeah, I would probably say the first one.
Robert could have done his crab walk on S&M2, but because he was not in shorts, his pants would crack.
Baggy pants next time, Rob. Baggy pants.
And he did not do his helicopter thing with bass, because they did not play Seek and Destroy. They should have played Seek and Destroy.
That would have been cool if they did. Yeah. It was so limited. Remember, they had such a limited space, trying to fly off.
Imagine if on the same show, Rob does his crab walk and his pants cracking in the butt, and second he does his helicopter thing and his strap breaks and the bass flies all over the symphony orchestra and kills some guys.
Feel like it's just all in music, man. It's just, what can you say?
Mixing, a lot of guys said that it was bad. But again, was the S&M1 mixing perfect? The mixing was great, but auto-tune! James was so smoothed out. The good thing about the S&M1 was the good mixing of instruments, but auto-tune spoiled everything. Now, I did not hear much auto-tune on S&M2. They learned the lesson and, well, they wanted to make it more like live album.
Do we want, this is a live album, so it would be S&M2 then.
So yeah, they did re-record a lot of stuff on S&M1, especially on No Leaf Clover and Nothing Else Matter. They went like singles, so they had to make it as clean as possible. On S&M2, that was what they played on stage. That was the sincere action.
Yeah.
In this regard, I would put minus for both. S&M2 for the bad instruments mixing, and S&M1 for autotune, for fucking autotune.
No, that's actually a good idea. I didn't think of that. I'll go with that.
It hurts to say this, but there were flaws in both. Then we have footage, editing, the film. I would go with S&M1
first.
Yeah, that was epic. That was epic. Everything was in its right place.
You know what? It looked so much better too. I didn't like the. I mean, granted, you know, they're playing in a new stadium, but I didn't like the stage dynamic and the layout and how they were in the center of there. They didn't have that big badass, you know, like background. I mean, granted, because you know you had everybody. It was a circle. It was a stadium they could see. First one, yeah. They
could have done a better montage with S&M2 because I thought that the cinema version was more of a rushed version, rushed editing, and for the DVD they would fix it. They did not.
Yeah.
And in general, they complement each other. They complement each other. S&M1, S&M2.
They do. The reason why it's getting so much, it might be getting more shit than the first one, is because there's an S&M1. It's like any Metallica album that came out after Master of Puppets. Let's compare it to Master of Puppets. Yeah. So let's pretend at times after we do this comparison that S&M1 never existed.
Let's drop it, and I would say that's a decent album.
Yeah, I agree.
And Metallica did that in 2019 when they were, many bands would be retired.
What would you rate the album? I'd probably rate it like a 8 to an 8.5, simply because it didn't have brand new songs like, you know, No Leaf Clover and Minus Human back then.
Yeah. Just a couple songs switched, a couple songs.
Yeah.
And a better editing in Cthulhu in Beltals. 8, even 9 out of 10. Totally. But now with my bias, because I could not hear bass in Beltals intro, and I could not see Rob in Cthulhu.
If you look at it from what they had to go through, what they had to pick, and try to get the final product out there, because S&M existed, I would give it an 8.5 because it had the 2 brand new songs. But as a standalone, if S&M1 did not exist, a 9 out of 10.
All right. 8 out of 10, and S&M1, 9 out of 10. Would have been 10 out of 10 without autotune.
Gotcha.